Hi everyone, this is Kannababu. This is part 3 of Angular FAQs. In this video, we are discussing about what is data binding in Angular. One of the important interview question in Angular. What is data binding in Angular? So what is data binding means? Binding the HTML element with TypeScript variable. That concept is called as data binding. So for example, here you see in Angular, actually template HTML will be there. There are 3 files will be there, app.component.html, and here you have app.component.css, and another one is app.component.ts file. So component.ts is a TypeScript class actually. App.component.ts. Here let us assume component is nothing but a class. Here I have some class with name employee, and here I'll declare some variables, some enumber colon number, and here I'll try to declare some ename colon string. In Angular 12, you have to initialize with some default values, some salary colon number. These are the 3 variables. This is my component.ts file, and here I have some app.component.html. There is one HTML file is there, and here I have some HTML code. Here I can write something like enter employee number, and here I'll try to take one text box. Input to type is equal to text, and here I can apply the data binding. In order to implement data binding, you can use ng model. Ng model is equal to, here you can give the name. Are you following everyone? Here you can say given something like ng model is equal to some variable name. Here you have to give. Is it clear everyone? Here you can write ng model is equal to enumber. That is your data binding actual. Binding the HTML element with the TypeScript variable. That is called as enter employee name. Here you can give something like ename, and here I can try to write something like enter salary. Here I can give something like sal. So what is the meaning of this data binding? Actually, Angular supports 3 types of data binding. One is one-way data binding or string interpolation. Other one is two-way data binding. Another one is event data binding. So what is two-way data binding? Means binding the HTML element with your TypeScript variable. That concept is called as two-way data binding. So whenever user enter any values in the front end, then automatically these values are saved in this TypeScript variable. Let us see. If my design is something like this, enter employee number, enter employee name and salary, and here I have one save button is there. So whenever user enter the input in the text boxes and just click on this save button, then automatically whatever the values that the user will enter in the text boxes, automatically these values are saved in these variables without writing any code. In olden days in JavaScript, we used to manually write the code by using document.getElement by ID. But in Angular, automatically there is a good relation between model and view. So ng model is used to apply the data binding. And string interpolation is there. String interpolation can be achieved by using double braces. If you observe this example, you can see enter first name and last name, click on button. So whenever user clicks on the button, I want to display the full name. So here I have declared 2 variables, first name and last name, and I'm mapping these TypeScript variables with my HTML elements by using ng model. This is two-way data binding. So when the user will enter the values in the text boxes, automatically these values are saved in the variables, vice versa. One-way data binding. When the model variable is modified, then automatically the view also will be modified. This can be done by using string interpolation. That is by using double braces. Inside you have to give the model variable name. So that is one-way data binding. You can also call it string interpolation. Other one is event data binding. Event data binding means whenever user clicks on the button, I want to execute some function, some TypeScript function I want to execute. So when user clicks on this button, then an event will fire. Here if you observe clearly, button, ng click, it is an event. This event will invoke this particular function, and this function automatically gives some result, and that result we are displaying in the front end. These are the 3 types of data bindings that are available in Angular. One is string interpolation, other one is one-way data binding, other one is event data binding. Is it clear? So simply, if interviewer will ask you what is data binding in Angular, you can simply tell binding the HTML element with the TypeScript variable. That concept is called as data binding. For more